Hey Nintendo fans and collectors, this is Lithium017 from my channel, Nintendo Collecting 101, bringing you an unboxing video of 6 figurines from the Fire Emblem universe. Fire Emblem is a series that is well beloved by Nintendo. Mostly it's very popular in Japan. Fire Emblem Awakening just came out here in North America this year for the 3DS, and of course there are the games back on the GameCube and on the Wii that did very well, and actually they're quite rare now. They're very expensive. So I thought it was high time that I get some figurines. So these 6 on the back are the 6 that I am getting. There is a 7th secret figure in this set, but that one figure alone is as expensive as me buying all 6 of these. So hopefully I'll get that one day. I just couldn't justify it right now. So these are Japanese exclusives. They were released, I believe, November 14th, 2006 in Japan, and they sold for roughly 700 yen at the time, so that's 7 or 8 US dollars. This is called Volume 1, Exceed a Generation Volume 1, which leads us to believe that Volume 2 was supposed to come out, but it never was released. And this is brought to us by Prestige, Pleasant Angels. Actually, this is made in China, it says, and yes, it was a Japanese exclusive. And I bought this set of 6 for $55 shipped, which is $8 or $9 a figure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open them up. If they come in baggies, I'll lay them all out and skip forward a little bit to actually making them. As you can see, the figurines do come in plastic packaging. Some assembly is required. It probably did say that in Japanese on the box, but I can't read that. So the characters come with a base. The base does say Fire Emblem on it. If the figure is really large, it looks like there's an extension to the base so that its feet can actually be supported. This one comes with swords, a belt it looks like, the bottom, and obviously the top. So some assembly is required. I will skip ahead again to show you them actually put together rather than waste your time. But I can tell you the figures that come in this set. I might pronounce some of their names incorrectly. So if you want to correct me as a comment below, that's fine, because I would love to learn. This one looks like Ike, it looks like Marth, but his name was originally in Generation 1. I believe his name is Sigurd, or Sigard, and he looks pretty cool. He does look like one of the clone characters, kind of like Ness was to Nintendo, and Lucas is something similar from the Earthbound series. Now this one must be Lewin, looks a lot like Lewin anyways to me. And these ones are predating most of the games that I can play over here, so if I get their names incorrect, I apologize, but I don't think I will. This one's Eldigan, I believe. And the one with silver hair, I think that's Tailtoe, but I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Tailtoe? And the one that's wearing all white with green hair from my memory, this one's Fairy, I think. And then the last one that I got in this set, this one looks a little different. So this must be Sylvia. I think it's Sylvia. She's wearing pink. So I'm going to put them all together, come back and show you what they look like. And here the figures are, magically put together. They look pretty awesome. They are roughly 4 to 8 inches high, but 8 would be pushing it just because his sword is so high. The base is plastic, and I must warn you that the feet are quite difficult to put into the plastic. So if you do buy this set and you're trying to force them, take your time, be patient, because you don't want to break any of them. You want to be able to have these figures standing up, or else they essentially feel like they're useless. Each of them in the box does come with this little card. They are also made by Intelligent Systems. It says at the bottom here, Nintendo/Intelligent Systems. I just didn't see that on the box, but it might be. So each of them does come with a card, and you'll probably want to keep the card, keep the box, even keep the baggies, and put the baggies with the corresponding figures and the corresponding card, because they do have a certain number of little packets or components to go into each one, and each one has a few sections. Like this one has 3 different sections for them to go in. Well, that's enough about that. Let's take a look at the figures, and let's go ladies first, because that always makes more sense to me. This first figure here is Sylvia, and she has a very different or unique pink ribbon going around her and green hair. The detail on these figures is awesome. It does look really, really cool. She's twirling that ribbon around herself, and she has a lot of personality in her pose as well. It's strange seeing people with green hair, but I mean, we love The Simpsons and they have yellow skin, and I guess the Japanese RPG has always been a little bit strange sometimes, and that just adds to how cool everything really is. So this one here is actually Fairy. She looks awesome as well, wearing silver and white, and I like her spear. You put the spear in her hand, and she can hold it in her one hand. You can bend it to fit in the other one, and then it looks even better. So when you are putting a spear or any swords in people's hands, be very careful because you can break their fingers. Moving on to our third and final lady, we have Tailtoe. Tailtoe is her name. I like how she's pointing off in the distance. I'll probably have her displayed pointing to Eldigan because he's so tall, and maybe pointing to his sword. I like how their capes just sit up there as they do. It looks pretty cool, and the cape does not only go over her shoulders, but it does clip into her arms so it stays there as well. So they did put some thought into actually having these figures stay together for a long time. And here is Eldigan, the man of the hour, with his huge sword. He's very tall. Again, very intricate work around his robe and on his feet. He has a purple, I'd call it purple ribbon, but he does have two swords, which is kind of strange that one is going behind his back. So I do hope I put that together correctly, but I couldn't see it going any other way. Two remaining. This one's Lewin. Lewin looks like he's actually thinking. He doesn't quite look like he's ready for a fight like the other ones are. The robe work and the robe detail is outstanding. And the scarf, I think I would call that a scarf, looks pretty cool. The name I got these from was Shop_Japan. Very simply, again, I paid $55 for the whole set with shipping. And you can replace them if you do break things on them for, I mean, $8 or $9. So that seller was awesome. Really quick shipping. Great with communication. And this last one is Sigurd, and he is kind of that match type that looks a lot like Marth and a lot look like Ike. He even has the shoulder pads, which remind me of them. And he is the only figure that had to have a base extension because his feet were so wide apart. As suggested, I did move a new shelf into my Nintendo room for all my figurines, but I will do a video of that in roughly a week. And here is where the Xseed Fire Emblem Generation 1 figures will rest for at least a few more days, weeks, or hopefully months. I tend to move around my collection quite a bit. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to fill that like bucket, follow me on Facebook and on Twitter, and remember, as always, game on.